this group got together and rented out a large building, and it was called, I believe, Second Chance, and where they had people die through virtual reality. So it's like kind of trying to tap into what,
that is very profound.
Is really most important to you.
Nobody talks about death until it's happened, and it's always surrounded by silence and naturally tears and awkwardness, to be honest. So I think it's fantastic what you're doing here. But what is wrong with the current rhetoric around death in the fact that it's awkward and surrounded by silence and isolation?
Well, I think that one thing is that there is this perception that people don't want to talk about it. And the truth is that when you create the invitation to, people jump in. I mean, that has been my experience in all of this work, that it really is about creating a space and an invitation. And I think there's a lot of focus, especially in like Western society, around kind of fighting against aging. And sort of that's sort of even like the visual I think of. It's like we're battling against it. Because people avoid having conversations about their own death, about loved ones' death. It means that people don't die as well as they could, because whether that be that they haven't had the conversations that are important conversations about how much they love their loved ones, or challenges, or not expressing what their wishes are and how they want to die. I think historically, the sort of resources or spaces to talk about this are, kind of more of a formal grief support group within a hospital,
or a church, or something
or
like that,
a therapist. And I think, it's kind of something that's sort of over here, like it's, and it's not as integrated into people's, everyday relationships. And we see that, in the workplace and in our own, even within families.
I think for many of us, we get wrapped up in, we have to leave behind a legacy, and, we have to do this, and I have to achieve these XYZ goals, but I drop dead tomorrow, and this show may not even be on the air, so let's go on drinking.
Having lost my mom when I was 20, and so my mom was 52 when she died, which is not that far away from where I am right now. But then I have my paternal grandmother is about to turn 96 and is in, great shape. I think I sort of fluctuate or kind of go back and forth of how, I think I tend to live much more in the present, and which leads to a lot of beautiful things. But then there's, if I am living till 96, I might make different choices in terms of setting myself up for a longer,
health insurance and basic shit like that.
In an ideal world, you're both appreciating the moments that you have and making, time. For me, it's like relationships with people is really the most important. And so making choices in my life that really do prioritize those, at the same time thinking about the future and thinking about how can I, set myself up well. I've just noticed in our culture that there's more of a divide or not as many opportunities for people to speak intergenerationally. And so I think, making connections with people that are older as a way to also start having those conversations with people. Sense. It's very simple. I shared some resources with you that you can really start thinking about how do you want to die. And I think actually just by thinking through those things and making some decisions, and you can change them. But I think that by stepping closer to it, that is going to, I think, help you accept it.
What are some of the most creative thoughts and that you've seen around death? What are people coming up with?
So in our San Francisco festival, this group got together and rented out a large building, and it was called, I believe, Second Chance, and where they had people die through virtual reality and then have an experience with performance artists, and there was self-reflection and discussions where it was this idea that you've died and now you have a second chance at life. So it's like kind of trying to tap into what
that is very profound.
Is really most important to you. We have one precious life. How can we make the most of it? And so to kind of let go of those other things that in the grand scheme of things are not that significant.
Do you have a particular school of thought that you subscribe to in terms of what's on the other end?
I'd say the main way I've thought about it is around like, where do I think my mom is right now, and where do I feel connected with her? And it's always in nature that I feel a presence or a connection. But I do think that your energy lives on in different ways.
I believe so.